Hi, everyone. Welcome to Hallmark Movie Drafts, the monthly podcast where guest panelists are all Hallmark movie enthusiasts who love to debate, rank, and create definitive top 10 lists, or in today's case, a top 15 list of Hallmark movies. It's September, and Hallmark Movie Drafts is celebrating our second anniversary as a podcast with this mega draft. So buckle up because it's four fierce, experienced panelists. And oh my God, six leftover vetoes or veto overrides are coming into this match on top of the other vetoes that they're going to get when they draft. So things could get really messy and really chaotic. I'm Lynn, your host. And with me, as always, is my dear friend and co host, Erin Beth. Erin Beth, before I get into this month's draft topic and who the panelists are, let's give a shout out to everyone who's been so supportive in so many ways to make what started off as a one-off Zoom meetup heard only by double deckers into a full-fledged podcast that now has listeners in 36 countries or more. I think it's actually 38. And there's a whole Hallmark Movie Drafts team that makes the show possible. There's Kate, who vets all of the movie eligibility lists, and she keeps them updated and manages the HMD Letterboxd account. Stephanie does all of the movie synopses. Erin Beth, you do the trivia questions and you help folks find where they can watch some of these harder to find eligible movies. And I do the show topics and the panelists and all the production and social stuff. So it's a lot of work by many dedicated hands behind the scenes that make it happen. And of course, none of this would be possible if it weren't for the passionate and opinionated double deckers who come on every month to throw down and just unleash about all these Hallmark movies that we either love or maybe not love so much.
I can't believe 2 years. Like, how does that even happen? It feels like so much more than just 24 episodes. I mean, it's been a roller coaster ride that I'm just happy you asked me to come along on you with.
It's been a lot of fun, and it is more than 24. Would you believe it if I told you it was 32? Because we've got those bonus episodes and we had the All-Star Championship shows as well. So yeah, it came out to actually 32. But I'm glad that you mentioned it, Erin Beth, because I wanted to let everybody know, listeners, some of you have been messaging me over the past year and a half asking if I could put these shows on YouTube, start a YouTube channel for Hallmark Movie Drafts. So I just recently finished creating that YouTube channel. It is Hallmark Movie Drafts. And you can go there and you can listen to all 32 shows right now. I think for 2025, there might be some behind the scenes special videos or just audio files that'll get uploaded there for YouTube subscribers to the channel. So it won't be public. It'll just be for the people that have subscribed to that YouTube channel. It'll be really awesome if you guys could just take a moment and go over there and start following the show there as well. It's still available everywhere you listen to your podcast, but getting this YouTube channel up and started was a lot of work. I would love to see some followers there. And as always, this show doesn't have any ads. I don't sell ads on this. YouTube might have some, but it's nothing that I've inserted or requested or solicited. So, Erin Beth, aside from that, the topic for this mega draft, the panelists are going to create the definitive singular list of the best 15 Hallmark movies that feature one of the 12 lead cast members from the One Tree Hill series that aired originally on the WB and then the CW channel collectively from 2003 to 2012. And they recently announced a reboot of sorts that's in production for Netflix. I'm not sure when that's going to start.
You can see the list of actors and eligible movies on our Hallmark Movie Drafts Instagram and on the Hallmark Drafts Letterboxd. The actors are Bethany Joy Lenz, Chad Michael Murray, Hilary Burton, Brian Greenberg, Tori DeVito, Amanda Scholl, Emmanuel Vauger, Paul Johansson, Robert Buckley, Chantel Van Santen. I really butchered your name, Chantel. I am sorry. Jana Kramer, Daphne Zuniga, and Kieran Hutchinson.
You crushed Emmanuel's last name, though.
I know. I know. I didn't go look at interviews for Chantel. Also, we have two themed bets for this draft. You'll see the recipes on Instagram at Hallmark Movie Drafts. This month, we have the One Tree Hill Brunch Mocktail, our take on an alcohol-free mimosa, and the One Tree Hill Nightcap, a smooth rum affogato. Check them both out on our Instagram.
I see one drafter is drinking one right now. So when we get to her, she can tell us how it tastes. All right. So speaking of the panelists, let's get going. They've had several months, actually almost a year, to put together their own personal top 15 list of the eligible movies. They've ranked them 15th to number one, and they're going to battle it out to get as many of their own personal favorites onto the final list. Ideally, in the same position they have them ranked on their own list. So players get 1 point for every title that gets onto the final list, and they will get a bonus point if that title is in the same ranked position that's on their list. And so, first up is Kate. She's a key member of the HMD team, as you just heard. She's well versed in drafting. And Kate, you actually suggested the One Tree Hill as the show topic for this month just over a year ago. So can you tell the listeners who might not be familiar with it what that series is about, basically? 9 years.
It started as a high school, like, the typical WB high school show that followed this cast of characters in a city called One Tree Hill, centered around a basketball team. And then a few seasons in, they did like a 4-year time jump, 5-year time jump, I can't remember. And then we started following these characters in their early 20s, and everyone stayed in One Tree Hill, believe it or not. So that's what the show's about.
Were you Team Nathan
Um,
or
no,
Lucas?
for Peyton, Lucas. For Haley, of course, Team Nathan. I don't think there's a question there.
So I've never seen an episode of When Calls the Heart, but it occurred to me that When Calls the Heart has Team Nathan and Team Lucas, and One Tree Hill has Team Nathan and Team Lucas. And I'm like, can we get any other matchups here?
Yeah, luckily the teams in One Tree Hill only lasted for about like half a season. Unlike When It Calls the Heart, they dragged it out for years. So
Well,
yeah.
great. All right. Well, good luck today. This was your idea for the topic. I'll take the blame for the, well, no, we'll get to who's to blame for this mega draft. We'll get to that shortly. Next up is Jessica. Jessica is making her third appearance on HMD. She drafted in 2022 for the Luke McFarlane draft and in 2023 for the Antonio Caone draft. So, Jessica, you
Um,
made one of the cocktails, right?
I did. I was on the Taylor Cole draft as well. I drafted in that one too.
So it is your fourth. My
Like
bad.
and it tastes basically like a nice mocha, honestly. Not mocha, sorry, latte, because
Wow.
it's rum and espresso and ice cream, and then the ice cream kind of melts and then it makes this cool little froth on top. It's yummy.
It did. It makes like three little ribbons is what it looks
Yeah,
like.
it does. It's really tasty.
All right. If you could have been a character in One Tree Hill,
Yeah.
which character would you have liked to have been and why?
Um, Haley, 100%. I mean, I know like the agent stage of me should say Karen because oh she's blah blah blah. But Haley, man, like besides the Nathan of it all, I adore Bethany Joy Lenz. And she's one of my favorites. She loves to sing and she pursues that career and she has weaknesses but works to overcome them. She's this cheerful light in a lot of their lives and her dad is Huey Lewis, so that's pretty rad. She's just the most likable character. Even when she's like being a pain, you still want to root for her. And even, you're a little bit cringing, but you're still rooting for her. So yeah,
Great.
Haley, for sure.
Who doesn't love BJL, right?
Yeah,
Art
exactly.
has made several appearances on the show. She is the Swiss Miss herself. It's Jen. Hey, Jen. You sent me some great photos of you and Holly F, I'll call her, at I think it was Christmas cons, right? Christmas cons, and you were with Bethany Joy Lenz and Chad Michael Murray. What was that like?
Yeah, so I met Chad at the first Christmas con by myself, and then when I went back in 2022, Holly and I were like, oh, we're gonna wait, and he always has a long line, so we decided we were gonna wait in that line again, and meet with him a second time. And while we were doing that, we figured we'd also jump in Bethany Joy Lenz's line. I was telling Lynn that I talked about football with Chad because he's a big Buffalo Bills fan. And I'm a Patriots fan, so he was wearing his Bills hat the first year I met him, so we had a conversation about that.
listeners, Jen is making a big sacrifice today because what is happening as we speak, Jen?
The game is on. Is it on mute in the background? Yes.
Yeah, so if she yells touchdown or starts swearing, you'll know the Patriots.
I don't know if I could start swearing even without that. You know me, so.
Yeah. I think the other thing for everybody to be aware of too is that you hold a record that still has not been broken in Hallmark Movie Drafts. You are still the only player in 2 years to have gotten all 10 of your personal picks onto the final drafted list. And that was for the infamous Tyler Hines draft. So I don't know if you can do it for 15 or not. I don't know if that record will ever be broken, but good luck today, and thanks for giving up your Patriots time to come hang out with us. Finally, last but not least, she's making her, if I counted correctly, her 5th appearance on Hallmark Movie Drafts, which means she just achieved all-star status. Woo! She's the wind beneath my Hallmark Movie Draft wings, the inspiration that led me to create this podcast. It's all due to her Andrew Walker pillow and singing karaoke with him at Bramblefest back in 2022. It's the one, the only Emily, aka Mrs. Andrew Walker. Hi, Emily.
Hello.
Emily, one of the drafts that you've done was the Lacey Chabert mega draft back in July of 2023. That was the first ever mega draft that I scheduled. It was a best 15 for drafters, just like today. Total insanity. And I vowed I would never do another one, as did you. And yet
I'm here, and I don't know
and here
why.
we are. And how did we get here, Emily?
I have no idea. I don't know why I did this to myself yet again. And buckle up, everyone. It's going to be a fun ride. Hopefully it doesn't go 4 hours long like the other one, but you never know.
Exactly. What was it Mary said? She said, it's been both 10 minutes and 10 hours.
Oh.
She was not wrong. She was not right. All right. We'll see how we can move it along. Let's start shifting into gameplay mode. If it's your first time listening, you can pause here and listen to the Hallmark Movie Drafts intro show first, where I go over the vetoes and gameplay and how everything works. Eligibility for this draft. As I've already mentioned, there were 12 lead cast regulars, all of whom had to be in at least 10 One Tree Hill episodes. The movies had to premiere on Hallmark channels or their Hallmark Plus streaming platform. Used to be Hallmark Movies Now as of about 5 minutes ago. And they have to be featured as one of the lead actors in the Hallmark movie. So again, that was 42 movies. You can see the list on our Instagram or on Letterboxd. So let's talk drafting positions for this match. There are 4 of them. Here we go. Drafter D picks positions 15, 9, 8, and 4, and they get 1 veto card. Drafter C picks positions 14, 10, 7, and 3. Drafter C gets a veto card and a veto override card. Drafter B picks positions 13, 11, 6, and 2. Drafter B gets only 1 veto card. And Drafter A picks positions 12, 5, and the number 1 position on the list. They get a veto card and a bonus veto as well. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, everyone is coming into this match with either an extra veto or an extra veto override. They all know what they've got. Kate has an extra veto. Emily has a veto and a veto override. Jessica has a veto override. And Jen has 2 veto overrides. So they'll get those in addition to whichever drafting position they end up with. How do we decide who gets to be which position? That's where Erin Beth and her terribly, horribly difficult trivia questions come in. I know I can barely answer them. So Erin Beth, why don't you go ahead and lead us through the trivia round?
All right. So you all know the rules, but we are going to go over them one more time just in case you've had some memory loss since the last time you were on. Remember, you cannot answer until I have finished asking the question. As soon as I have finished asking question, you're going to raise your virtual hand. I will call the name of the first person to raise their hand. If I call your name, you must answer immediately. Any pause of more than 2 seconds will be considered a wrong answer, and the question will go to the remaining drafters. If you answer incorrectly, you cannot guess again until the other three drafters have made a guess. There aren't any clues. When it's clear the drafters do not know the answer, a new question will be given. The first drafter to answer one question correctly will pick their drafting position first. The next drafter will pick second, and so on until the fourth person just gets whatever is left. If you guys are ready and there aren't any questions, I have some for you, so we will get started. All right. The first question comes from the movie Love in Paradise. Long live Luke Perry. Emmanuel Vauger stars in Love in Paradise with Luke Perry. What is the injury that keeps Luke's character from leaving the ranch after he falls from the horse? Jen, you were quick up with that hand.
I think it was a concussion.
That is correct. Jen answered that correctly, so she will be able to pick her drafting position first. Is everyone ready to go on to question number 2? Fingers on your buttons. This question is from the movie Round and Round. Brian Greenberg stars in Round and Round with Vic Michaelis. They visit Brian's best friend in what type of store? Jessica, you were fast on that one. What is the answer?
Comic book store.
Comic book store is correct. You will choose your drafting position second. All right, the next question comes from 5 Star Christmas. Bethany Joy Lynn stars in 5 Star Christmas with Vic Webster. His character serenades BJL with classic Christmas song. What is that song? Mrs. Walker.
Blue Christmas.
Blue Christmas is correct. So you will pick your drafting position third. And Kate, you will get whatever is left over after they have chosen.
Wow, you guys did a great job.
That was fantastic.
That was really good. Lightning fast.
This is why they're on the Mega Draft.
Exactly. So Jen, you have 2 leftover veto ride cards. What drafting position do you want to have? A, B, C, or D? And let me know if you need me to read them again.
No, I have them printed. I'm looking at them. I was hoping the trivia was going to go slightly longer,
little longer?
so I had time to think. Yeah, I mean, I've got the 2 overrides, so I'm just trying to decide like whether I want more vetoes or more picks, I guess would be my choice right now.
Yeah.
I think, ooh, man, this is hard. Sorry.
It's okay.
It might
Well,
be hard.
while you're thinking, I'll let everybody know that that Erin Beth and I have a side hustle, because I always forget to say this. Erin Beth and I have a side hustle where we each exchanged our personal top 15 lists with one another, and we're trying to see how many of our personal favorites get onto your final drafted list, and we'll get a point for each, and the same scoring as yours, and all we get are bragging rights. Did that give you enough time? Do you need me to DoorDash?
No, I don't need to DoorDash. Also, I know for a fact I'm not picking D, so that I'm not the first person to have to pick it. That's what happened to me the last few times.
Exactly.
I think I'm going to go with drafter B.
Drafter B. All right. So Jen is going to get picks 13, 11, 6, and 2. She'll have 1 veto with that position, and she's going to get 2 veto overrides as well. So I'm just marking that down so I can keep that straight. So Jessica, you would be next up in the veto order. What position would you like?
Oh, Jen. I guess. C. I'll go with C.
Okay. So Jessica has chosen C. She'll have positions 14, 10, 7, and 3. She'll have a veto and a veto override that comes with that position. And Jessica has an extra veto override as well. So I'm just making a note of that. This game sheet is already looking messy. Emily, would you like to be drafter D or drafter A?
Well, my second choice is still on the table, so I'll be drafter D, please.
Emily wants to kick off the list. Emily's going to get positions 15, 9, 8, and 4. She'll have one veto, and she is coming in with another veto and a veto override. Okay, there we go. So you get 4 picks, and so does drafter C, so does drafter B. It's really only drafter A, which is going to be Kate, who will get 3 picks. She'll be 12, 5, and 1. She gets 2 vetoes, basically, and she's coming in with a veto. Oh, wow. Kate is going to have some superpowers here. If she chooses to use those, she will have 3 total vetoes. If any of you scoring at home are confused, so am I. Don't worry about it. And I'm looking at them and I've got it all written down. All right, let's get this party started, Mrs. Walker. Emily, you're going to start off the list. What is your pick for number 15?
You want us to say it out loud, right?
Yeah, just say it out loud.
Things have changed since the last time I've been on. Okay. At number 15, I have Love Again.
Love Again. Emily has chosen a movie from 2015. Terry Polo is Chloe. Paul Johansson is David. A couple on the brink of divorce decides to keep their marital woes a secret as they help their daughter plan her wedding. And as the two work together on the happy occasion, they soon discover that their own marriage might just be worth saving. Emily, tell us about this movie and why you've chosen it.
Well, it's actually 2015. That's a very long time ago. So it's really old Hallmark, but I think it's like old Hallmark when it was still not bad yet. I thought the co-stars are older in their life. They're not the young, 20 somethings. And they had a lot of good conversations. They were going through a divorce. They were planning their daughter's wedding. That was only 3 weeks away, and it was right by the same place where they got married. So it brought up a lot of memories. I thought their relationship on their chemistry was really good. And we also have a very young Chris Russell in this movie and Zach Santiago. So, I mean, I think overall, it was a really good cast. Yes, it's a Hallmark movie, so there's still issues with it, but I think it's a pretty solid choice out of the 40 some we had to watch to be at 15.
Chris Russell, he looks like he's 12 in this movie, but he's a stunning 12-year-old. That's so inappropriate. I'm just going to move on. I'm going to move on to 2. Jen, you are first up in the veto order. See, this is what the edit button's for. What do you think? What do you think of?
Was not expecting that.
My mouth wasn't expecting that either. What do you think of this movie?
You have some teachers on this pod. Let's not try to get us in trouble.
I'll fix it in post.
Oh man.
All right, Jen. What do you think of Love Again at 15? You want to keep it, veto it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I had a similar kind of note on it that I love the leads, the fact that it was a different storyline and kind of dealt with some more, serious things. The parts that I didn't like in it were the wedding part, the fact that they were planning it literally while they were there, oh, let's go look at places at this resort. It turned into a party planning movie, and that to me took away from a lot of the more serious parts of the plot that I actually liked. So it was much lower on my list because of that. I do also have baby Chris Russell listed in my notes because it was really I was he's so young. I mean,
don't try baiting.
I don't necessarily think I want to use a veto on it this early in the game, but it was the party planning aspect, and the daughter kind of annoyed me in the way that she was you guys are perfect. I don't know. But yeah, if it hadn't been for that part, it probably would have been higher on my list. So
all right, you're going to let it ride. Okay. Jessica, how about you? Keep it, veto it. What do you want to do?
I have it a little bit higher on my list, but not higher enough to worry about it. I'm just happy it's on the list. The same thing, just to repeat, I love the older love story. And in spite of I generally don't like the whole like, split up couple getting back together. I do like this particular story. They did it really beautifully. So yeah, I'm just happy it's on the list at all, so I'm good.
Okay, so Jen's good, Jessica's good. Kate, it's all up to you. Miss Veto Power. You have three vetoes.
Yeah, no, I have this on my list a little bit higher, so I'm not going to veto it. I don't think there's any way we could have made this list without Paul Johansson's one eligible movie. He plays Dan Scott on One Tree Hill. It's like the ultimate like TV villain. He's so bad on that show. Like, I mean, he's a great actor, but his character is bad. So it's kind of refreshing to see him play like a normal, nice person in this movie. And he's a really good actor, and this belongs on the list just for that. So yeah.
Well said. Well said. All right. Congratulations, Emily. You've started us off. You got it on there. That's perfect. Jessica, it's up to you now with your pick at number 14. Tell us what you've chosen.
Rip in time.
Ribbon time, Nile. And contrary to all the little nasty grams that I got at last month's draft when I went off on what was it? Holiday Hotline.
Holiday Hotline.
I do like Nile Otter movies. I really do. So Rip in Time 2022. Niles Rip Van Winkle Jr., Tori DeVito is Sarah. When organic farmer Sarah meets a man who claims to be from 1787 named Rip Van Winkle Jr., she soon discovers old-fashioned romantic feelings that might be just as crazy as his story. And this movie was actually drafted at number 1 in the time travel draft with Dan, Bran, and Brian. So, Jessica, why do you like this one for number 14?
I think it definitely belongs on the list, but I don't love it as much as all the other movies on my list, obviously. I love both of those leads. Tori DeVito, I'm so happy she's in a draft. I know she hasn't made enough to have her own, but like every time she's in a movie, it instantly uplifts it for me. And then Niall's so charming. And I like the way he handles the time travel. It's not this like, what does this thing you call, like he handles the time travel well. And then that rain kiss is just, solid, what all-time Hallmark top 10 kisses ever, right? So I'm gonna guess the only disagreement with me from my fellow drafters will be that they think it should be higher. I totally understand that. However, like I wasn't as deeply enchanted with this movie as my fellow double deckers seemed to be, but I liked it and I want it on the list. And so there.
So there. Okay, so there, Jen. What do you think?
There.
There. So there.
I will preface this by saying I had a hard time with this list in general because there are some on here that like are like near and dear to my heart, and so it was like tough for me to like they were like my gateway Hallmark movies, and so it was hard for me not to put them on the list in favor of other ones. So this one was like below my top 15, I'm not gonna lie. Like not like significantly, like the other one was lower. Again, it's not because I dislike it. I had a really hard time narrowing down like 15 because I like in other drafts I did, I feel like it was easier to be like these ones. No. In this one, there were like a good chunk that I was like, I could put a lot of these on here. So again, I don't know if I want to waste a veto on it though.
Okay. Jen says she's going to let it stand. It was Jessica's play. So, Emily, what do you think about Rip in Time at 14?
Okay, this is not I'm really familiar with how gameplay works in this.
Yeah, I'd say so, All Star.
I really don't know what to do about this. Because I really like this movie and it's way higher. I'm glad it's on the list. I don't know if I want to waste a veto on it. So that's my predicament. But this is at 14. You guys, that kiss though.
Yes.
Now, this was Niall's turning point to acting and the Hallmark. Before that, it was all blah. And now after this, it was way better.
Yep.
I
Maybe Kate will rescue you. You never know.
So Emily, what you're saying was wasn't it the New Year's movie he claimed was like his best ever?
I think yes, I think it was. I mean, it's one of his best, let's be honest. Yes. I think for the sake of knowing how this goes and my top 10, I really don't want to mess with too much. I think I'm going to let stand.
Okay. Emily's going to let it stand. There is a Nile Matter draft coming up in 2025, people, just so you know. You never know where it will end up on that one. Kate, what do you think of Rip in Time at 14?
So I'm in the same boat as Emily that I have this much higher on my list, but I am also very familiar with gameplay, and I don't have the position that I have it on my list. So I'm still going to get the point if it's here at 14. I won't get 2 points because I can't play it where I have it. But yeah, this is like, Niall's performance is as good as anything Hallmark's ever aired. But this is a One Tree Hill draft, and Tori DeVito is also great in this movie.
Yeah.
But she's the other One Tree Hill villain. So I kind of like keeping Dan Scott and Nanny Carey down at the bottom of this list. So
is this a case of it's a reverse from I can't have this movie next to mine? You're okay with these two movies being side by side?
Yeah, I like the way it's coming together. And you're right, we have a Nile draft coming up. I have a feeling this will end up much higher on that list. So I'm going to leave it where it is.
All right, Rip in Time at 14. Way to go, you guys. Nobody
I
wants.
always
Go
sorry, I
ahead.
was gonna say I always find the like these mixed ones, because the last one I did was a mix too of people, harder than the individual people one.
Very
'Cause,
hard.
like in the individual people one, I'm comparing like performance against performance of the same person. Whereas these, it's like I start looking at other like criteria and it ends up just getting emotional. 'Cause,
And
like,
like
I'm like,
comparing their movies against each other,
yeah.
and it's hard.
And then you're like, but should this, like, I want like each person to be recognized. Like there's too many, like when there's a lot of people involved, it becomes like very, it's harder to like rank them, I think.
You know, don't cry,
That's where I
Jen.
just
Don't
that's where I just
cry.
let go of that, like and just see them as like the step back and see the movie as a whole and forget about the fact that, oh, I'm watching this because so and so is the person that's in it. That's what helped
Yeah.
me over.
Yeah. And with that said, Jen, it's up to you for number 13. What are you so there? What are you gonna hit us with?
I am gonna go with Love in Store. I no, you read that first, huh? You read your
Um,
little thing first.
no, you can no. Do you want to tell us about the movie? Go for it.
No, I mean, I
Okay,
can. I have the little like blurb. Would you like me to read the blurb? I have
No.
them here.
All right, it's from 2020. Love in Store is from 2020. It's Alexandra Breckenridge as Terry, Robert Buckley as David. Two of the most popular shopping hosts are forced to work together while competing for a promotion. The fine line between hate and love may be crossed as they get to know one another better. Will that on-air chemistry result in an off-air spark? It's a great choice.
I've determined, like, in the last one, I think I determined I like the like they knew each other previously kind of like trope. In this one, I determined like I actually like the rivals like trope, like where they're like competing, but then like they slowly start to like come together. I think this one's quirky. I think that Jack A is fun in it. And I just like I don't know, I enjoy it together, like them together. I just thought it was a fun one. I wish that Alexandra would do more of these because I think she would be fun in more of them. Yeah, I like it.
Erin, Beth, have you seen this movie? I love this movie. I won't say whether or not it made my list, but I also like the whole rival thing. There's an Allison Sweeney one where she's like a morning talk show host with it's a Christmas. Is it a Christmas? I think
Yeah, I think
it's a Christmas
I think that
one.
was high
Oh,
on
like
my
Good Morning
that one was
Christmas
high
or
on
Hello
my
Christmas.
Yeah,
yeah, it's like Good Morning Christmas because I think that was
That's it.
high on my the last draft that I did because it was the Blucas one.
It was
Yeah.
Blucas. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Blucas. Do you like this movie, Erin Beth?
I will tell you where it is on my list because it does not affect my top 15. It's number 27. It is not one of my favorites. I it bores me, to be honest. I'm bored every single time have had to watch this movie. So
Jaws
no,
are
it's just
dropping
not my
here at this
thing.
one. It's
I
not
know.
Erin Beth's
It
vibe.
is not my vibe. I do love
Just
Jack A. I do want to say I do love Jack A.
Jessica, your first step in the veto order. What do you think of Love and Store at 13?
I'm super glad it's on the list. It's slightly higher on my list. Harumph, Beth. No. Um, enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers. That is, I'm gonna go. It's my favorite trope. It's just it's so I just love the roller coaster ride to getting there. It's just so much fun. Um, and that saying like, what are you going to do with your one something? It was like that was it's a sweet, it's cheesy, but it's sweet. Like I I like this movie. Yeah, Jackie is just like she's just like that perfect little like boss, comic side, da, and their journey is fun. I think this is a very sweet movie. I like it a lot. So I'm good.
Okay, Jessica's good. Emily, do you think this is cheesy but sweet and worthy of staying on the list at
Oh,
13?
this movie sucks. I hate this movie.
Thank you, Emily.
I don't hate it. There's a lot more that I hate.
Does that,
It's not a
does
great
that
movie.
mean you're going to use a veto?
Here's the thing. I don't this is what happens when you play this game so early. Because I see that Jen and Jess like it. I think Jess probably has it pretty higher, as she said. I am petrified for it to come back at a higher place. And that
It
is
could happen. Yeah.
I love Alexandra Beckeridge. I love her. She has gone on to do great things. Including what's the Netflix show? Virgin River. Love her. Robert, it took too long for their chemistry for this movie for this to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And if I have to see an umbrella being sold on TV, only good thing about this movie is that dancing scene when they're testing out this boombox and Jackie. But like I said, as much as I don't like this movie, I'm petrified for it to go in higher. And there are movies that I think deserve to be way higher than this one. So I guess it's at 13.
Guess it's at 13. Lucky number 13, Kate. Kate, have you ever bought an umbrella off of a television?
No, I haven't. I've never bought anything from TV. I can't say the same about online ads, but
All right. What do you think? Love and Store.
Well, I am team Aaron, Beth, and Emily on this movie. I do not like it. I think it's very bland. I think I'm going to veto it. I think we have a lot of other good choices that I'm confident it won't come back. I don't live to regret this.
Okay, Kate is throwing down the first veto of the game. She's crossing off Love and Store at number 13. It could come back higher. You never know. Does anyone want to veto override her veto?
I don't, but I do want to say something really quick about this movie. It is bizarre to me that Hallmark has not just one but two movies about celebrity QVC hosts.
Exactly.
Fair.
Exactly. Jen, give us another choice for number 13 since this one just got vetoed. What do you think?
I am gonna give the no, not the. I don't know why I said the. Because a lot of them start with the, probably. I'm gonna do 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
It was the night before Christmas, 2022. Tori DeVito is Madison. Zane Holtz is Connor. Madison, a former actress trying to break into directing, tests her skills with a Christmas Eve courtroom production in which the true authorship of the famous poem A Visit from St. Nick is debated. Why do you like this one, Jen?
This was actually one of the ones that I watched like last in the season. Wasn't it come out 2022?
2022, yeah.
it was like that was the year that I was way behind on Christmas movies, and I remember watching it like towards the last of the batch, and it was probably like well into the new year at that point. And I ended up liking it more than I thought I was going to. Like I wasn't really sure what to expect from it, but the whole like uh ghost thing, I don't know. There are parts of it I wish were done better in terms of that, but then also like I just liked it. I don't know. It wasn't enough that I like it. I wanted to put it above other ones on my list, but I liked it on my list. And it is actually 13 on my list. So
All right. Okay. Jessica, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas at number 13. Let it
Starring Tori
ride.
DeVito. Tori DeVito, love, love, love her. And it's higher on my list, but I'm not wasting my veto on this. So I'm glad it's on the list. I'm fine where, I mean, I'm okay with where it is. I'd rather it be higher, but I'm not wasting my veto on this. So
All right. Jessica says it's going to stay, in her opinion. Emily.
So this is one of the movies I rewatched last night. And I remember originally when this movie came out, I actually really liked it, mainly because the leads actually have really good chemistry. And I like the concept of a play within the movie. And I like the relationship with him and his daughter. This was 16 on my list, and I'm fine with it being on this list at 13.
Emily's fine at 13. Kate, once again, it's up to you.
Yeah, so this one did not make my top 15, but I don't hate it. I agree they have great chemistry. And we're keeping crazy Nanny Carey at the bottom of the list. So
that was what I was like, oh, I'll just put Nanny Carey.
yeah, that works for me.
I just looked at my 2022 list and it was number 7 on that list. So it like
Yeah.
ended up my top 10 that year.
Not bad. All right. So 'Twas the Night Before Christmas is going to stay at 13. Kate, it is up to you for number 12. We've got Love Again at 15, Rip in Time at 14, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas at 13. What are you going to offer up for 12?
For 12, I'm going to say The Beach House.
The Beach House, Chad Michael Murray. Minka Kelly is Kara. CMM is Brett. Andy McDowell is in this. Kara finds her life, it's from 2018. Kara finds her life spinning out of control and she returns to the scenic low country to visit her mother. But before long, the rhythms of the island open her heart in a wonderful way as she repairs the family beach house, becomes a bona fide turtle lady, and renews old acquaintances long lost. That was acquaintances, long lost. Can't talk. All right, tell us about it.
Yeah, I think that the Hallmark Hall of Fames are always a little bit higher quality. They give them a little more money for these movies, and that's, evidenced by the cast. It's pretty sad, so I like to keep these sadder ones at the bottom of the list, but Chad Michael Murray and Minka Kelly are very cute together in this, and the turtles are very cute in this. So even though it's not like a typical Hallmark movie that I like to revisit, it's higher quality than a lot of the other movies on this list. So I think it deserves a spot.
You get bonus points for not starting off with swim, swim, swim. Because somebody's got to say it. Come on, Jen. You're first up, The Beach House. Do you like this one? What do you think?
I actually thought that the turtle storyline was boring.
Oh.
I think it's fine. I think it's definitely one of the more like serious ones. There's only a handful of them on this list. If I recall, because it wasn't one of the ones I necessarily like rewatched, because I think I watched it like not long ago. That she has like the girl that's pregnant that's living with her, right? That's like Alexa Pena Vega's like sister.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a lot of like angst and anger and like ugh. And it's way further down on my list. Mostly because of that. Probably because I tend to watch Hallmark for like escape versus like I want seriousness. The question is, do I want to veto it? I know we're
Veto-
like only on 12 and it's like,
And you only have one veto.
I know, that's why I'm like, but I also didn't veto 15 and 14 and neither of those are on my list either. So that's where it gets like trickier. I don't know. Sorry. I'm like, this is
See,
why I hate being first, like in the veto
I just want to
list.
reassure,
Like,
I just want to reassure the listeners that Jen is looking at her list. She is not watching the game.
No,
I
I
just
am
want
not.
you to know
Actually,
that.
it's shut off. It's shut
I'm
off.
watching Jen. I'm watching Jen.
I
She's
am
looking at
actually
her
looking at
list.
Um, sorry. It's just like because then we have like so much left, and if I veto this one, I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave it because if I veto it, then I've got nothing for the next 11 spots,
No, exactly. You will only have some overrides left. All right.
and I never use them. I don't. That's why I have two.
Yeah, but you can't redeem them for, Starbucks or,
Should be able to turn them in for like a veto. Like you collect so many and you get a veto, right? Emily agrees.
Yeah, I agree. For every 2 overrides you have, you get
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that should be a thing. Add it to the list.
add that to the rule list. That'll start in 2026. All right, so we've got the beach house at 12. Jen says, I'm gonna leave it there. Jessica, what do you think? Keep it, veto it?
Meh. It's
Nah.
like 26 on my list. I'm not, I'll have to, show my cards, I guess, a little here and then. I'm not really fond of Chad Michael Murray anyway. And his porcupine hair. Like, I don't know who that's supposed to be appealing to, but it's so annoying. The turtles kind of saved it for me because I have like a love for turtles. And of course Andy McDowell. But yeah, but I'm not wasting my veto on it. So whatever.
All
Why
right.
not?
I have to
Jessica's
laugh
good.
because it's 26 on my list also. Like exactly 26.
Jessica says, okay. Emily, what do you think? Can we just all agree that Andy McDowell, though, 2018 Andy McDowell and 2023, 2024 Andy McDowell, goals. Can I just
Yes.
say that? Goals.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
What this movie is it's not goals.
No, this movie is not goals.
I okay, so this is the problem when you have a mega draft is you get things like this to happen, and we're all saving our vetoes for things that we really care about. Again, this movie was not in my top 15, mainly because of some personal things that go on with this, and that touches a little too close to home. So I'm very sad in this movie, and I don't ever want to watch this movie again. This is my first time watching this movie. However, again, I don't want to waste my veto. So there you go, Kate. You get your movie on the list.
So congratulations, Kate. That was said with such heartfelt warmth. Brings a tear to my eye, Emily. There you go, Kate. Here you go.
I would like to say this one also fell at 26 on my list. I had to go look when you guys were saying it was 26. I'm like, I think it was 26 on my list too. And there it is sitting at 26.
I have it at 19, but I only did like the top 30 movies. I did it for Andy McDowell. Let's just say that.
I mean,
Very
valid, because yeah, that's probably why it was 26 for me.
Yes.
In Kate's defense and in the Beach House defense, as a Hall of Fame movie, it does deserve a spot on this list. I'm not mad at it being on this list. I think that, in the overall picture, I think that's great. And this was not on my list either, but that's okay. It's a fine movie. So Jen, it's back to you for pick number 11. What are you thinking? Because we're getting up to where we get to the top 10. We're going through the bottom third really fast here.
I have to like look at my list to see what ended up on here. Hold on. So speaking of slightly sad, Emily's giving me a dirty look. Just in case nobody can see that. I've got to throw the Christmas Promise on because even though it is big sads in the beginning, I still love that movie and I loved it the year it came out. There are a lot of wait what's in it. I will fully admit it. the fact that the friend who texts the carpenter doesn't realize they have the same number, the fact that like her friend group seems sus, and is just trying to get her to get over her husband's death a year later, and is trying to set her up, and forces her to go to a party that her husband died at, and that party is randomly on a Tuesday, is a separate issue. But yet I really like it. I have come to the conclusion that I'm also apparently a sucker for like the like you've got mail kind of trope where they're communicating but also like meeting in real life thing. So
The Christmas Promise is Tori DeVito, right? So it's Tori DeVito, Dylan Bruce, and Patrick Duffy is in this as well. And this was from 2021. So, Jessica, what do you think of The Christmas Promise?
Wow, the Gen X in me loves me some Patrick Duffy.
Patrick Duffy, yeah.
No, this is like number 41 on my list. I can't take the beginning is just so freaking awful. The whole like send him out for ice and then nobody thinks to like ask after him until I don't know. It was just bleh. That said, I'm not wasting my veto on it, so I'm gonna send this off to the others to make decisions. But yeah, there we are.
So, Jessica, I can tell, is not thrilled with a lot of the titles on this list so far, but she is not going to waste her veto.
I've got plans for my veto, so
That's
yeah,
right. That's
not
right.
include this one.
So The Christmas Promise at number 11. Emily.
Can we start picking movies that are actually on my list, please? Okay, no. So
yes, I also have that problem.
yes. So Jen, here's my thing with this. I actually like this movie as well. There are problems with, of course, why didn't you ask where the hell is he for ice? I do like the whole got mail thing, and some of her friends are just horrible. And that's what it is. Tori DeVito, though, she's fantastic. Like we said, we want her in more of these movies. I think she has better movies from this. And at what movie is this? Would be 11?
This would be 11. Yeah.
Oh,
We are on the cusp of the
we
top
are on the
10.
cusp of this. And what do I do? Because this didn't make my top 15. It is somewhat tinkering around the top 20-ish. But I think I'm going to have to veto this.
Emily is going to veto this.
I know.
Kate.
I'm going to do it, folks.
Emily's going to veto this. Kate, you do not have a veto override, but Jessica or Jen, do you want to override her veto? Getting some head shakes? No?
I can't override it. It was my pick.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Jessica, you can't override. Jessica says no. All right. So it's going to come off at number 11. So Jen, you can send us something else.
Sorry, Jen.
It's okay.
While she's thinking, Kate, is there anything that you would like to say about this movie, even though we just vetoed it? Give Jen a little breathing room.
I kind of feel similar to Jessica and Emily. Like, it's fine. It was a nice movie, and I love Tori DeVito, but it didn't make my top 15.
Yeah.
It's super disregards the grieving process too, which pisses me off. You know, like her friends are not respectful of that in her.
Her friend gives her a guilt trip about not.
Sorry.
I was gonna say her friend gives her a guilt trip over not going to the party where her fiance died the year before.
Exactly.
Right.
One good friend out of this, and it's that guy, and I can never remember his name, and I don't know like how he's involved in it, but he's the only decent human being.
The one who tells her like, "Oh, everything will be fine."
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, he'll come back," and then
he'll come back. Yeah, that one. But then, Jen, you played the movie. Come on.
I know. I very clearly said in my description that they're problematic friends, and I pointed out the friend who makes her go to the party. I just like it. I think I don't know what it is. I liked it that year too. It was like high up on my list that year. All right. I'm gonna throw out Surprised by Love.
Surprised by Love. So that is going to be Hillary Burton, Paul Campbell, and National Treasure, Tim Conway. It's a 2015 movie. Josie is a no nonsense businesswoman working at her father's prosperous cookware company and thinks her boyfriend Richard is the perfect man. He's handsome, successful, and driven, and it's not Paul Campbell, people. Josie's parents disagree, and when Josie meets up with Maxwell, that's Paul Campbell, an underachieving old high school flame, Richard dreams up a plan to make himself look good to Josie's parents. Maxwell will be Josie's date for the weekend at her parents' upcoming anniversary party, and when they see her with the unsophisticated Max, they'll give anything to have Richard back in the picture. At least that's the plan. And this was actually ranked number 2 in the fake relationship draft by Sarah, Emily, Mrs. Walker, and me. I love this movie. Jen, tell us why you like this one for number 11.
So it probably would be higher on my list if it weren't for a certain somebody. I think that made it drop some. I love the hijinks of the grandfather. I think he's fantastic.
Tim Conway is just hilarious.
It's the best part of the movie. I like that it was like more rom-com, especially back then in what was that, 2015? Like you weren't seeing a lot of like the rom-com type stuff. It was definitely the typical like the old boyfriend or the current boyfriend sucks, and so we're gonna like switch him over for this model, like storyline that a lot of movies did back then. But I love Hillary Burton. I wish she would come back and do more of these. And I just, like I said, if it weren't for He Who Shall Not Be Named, it might have been higher on my list because I have seen it a bunch of times. Driftwood and all, like the random driftwoodness of it and all.
The Twinkie cake, come on.
Twinkie cake is good.
The Twinkie cake. All right. Jessica, what do you think of Surprised by Love at number 11?
This is the one with like the crappy sculptures, right? Like I kind of don't remember a whole lot of. I remember the crappy sculptures and
he makes like sculptures with driftwood and utensils and stuff. Yeah.
Right, yeah. My love of Tim Conway and my feelings about Paul Campbell kind of cancel each other out, I guess, but also it bored me. And I have it pretty low on my, I have it like in the 30s. But again, I'm not wasting my veto, so
okay.
There we stand.
So there we stand. Emily, I kind of know how you feel about this list because we drafted it. So, but number 11, what do you think?
Yeah. So for those who never listened to that one episode, that was, I think it was last year. That's fake relationship. This came at 2, you said, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think I even had it on my list. For reasons I can't remember, but for some of those reasons I do remember, one of it being the Who Shall Not Be Named. Although Tim Conway's in it. Believe it or not, this did make my list this time. And it made it at number 10.
Wow.
I don't know how I got there. Don't ask me. Do not ask me how I got there.
I don't know how we got here.
It might have been it might have been because I was drinking during. I don't know. But
it was also 10 on my list. So
I am fine with it at 11. I don't think I want to waste my veto on it. So there we have it, folks.
There we have it. It's okay with Emily. Kate, is it okay with you? Surprised by Love. Paul Campbell, Hillary Burton, Tim Conway, the dog, Twinkie cakes.
Yeah, no, it's number 11 on my list, so I am fine with it where it is.
Oh,
yeah.
Kate says, hell yeah, let's just keep it there. All right, Surprised by Love is locked in at number 11. Jessica, while you were thinking at number 10, so we're moving to the midpoint of the list. Let's do it quick recap, there's Love Again at 15, Rip in Time at 14, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas at 13, 12 is The Beach House, 11 is Surprised by Love. What are you going to offer up for number 10, Jesse Joe? You're on mute. You've muted yourself.
My bad, sorry. Right before Christmas.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Right before Christmas.
Right Before Christmas, 2019. Chad Michael Murray is Luke. Tori DeVito. We have some Tori DeVito fans today in this episode. Tori DeVito is Jessica. Recently single Jessica sends Christmas cards to those who have influenced her life: the aunt who raised her younger brother in the military, a pop star that provided the soundtrack to her life, the music teacher that inspired her, and her best friend that always tells the truth. As each person receives Jessica's card, they are sparked to act to improve their own lives. Tell us why you love this one for number 10, Jessica.
I really want it on the list somewhere. And so first of all, it's the one that has that both leads are One Tree Hill people. So that was kind of rad. I really love all the smaller stories in it. I feel the two of them have pretty good chemistry. I adore Drew Seeley. Super duper adore him. And I wish he would do more stuff. He has a beautiful voice. Like obviously he was the Zac Efron's singing voice in the first High School Musical. And I would love to see more stuff. The little side stories, the brother and his love interest in the military storyline, that was sweet. It's all I like. It's just I get that it's a bit saccharine and how sweet it is, but like, I mean, it's Hallmark, folks. You know what are we gonna do? And I also get that it's very much a like commercial for Hallmark cards. But you know, if you're gonna watch a 90-minute commercial, at least they got a good storyline. So. I think it's very sweet. I've seen this movie a few times. It's just one of those happy place kind of movies for me.
Yeah, it's a great choice, and I love that it's a twofer, right? We've got two OTH cast members in this one. Jen, what do you think of Right Before Christmas?
So this was another one that like barely like was off my list. I went back and forth about putting it on and then kind of didn't, because again, like there were other ones that I wanted on. I think even if I did put it on, I don't know if I would have it at number 10. But again, I feel like there's like ones that I don't know. Like I have stronger thoughts about. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I don't know. At this point, who knows? There's too many movies.
Jen is fatigued already. We're only at 10. All right.
And this is what happens when it's called a mega draft.
Yes, I get that, Emily.
It's true. Hard. It's hard. It is hard. All right. So Jen's gonna let it slide. Emily, what say you for Right Before Christmas?
I'm not gonna belabor this. I agree with Jen on this. Exactly what she said. It barely made my top 15. It's both of them it's Chad Michael Murray and Tori DeVito. I'm fine.
You're fine.
I do want to see more Drew Seeley though, Jess, as well. Like I love him, but like, yeah, we need to see more. But I'm no more of these movies, please. Let's actually get to like really good movies starting now, please, and thank you.
Was it Drew that like came up to the DTH booth during Christmas Con and like was flipping through the book and Elizabeth was like, "Oh no." Do you remember that story? Like he was like reading the review.
It might have been.
I think it was. And Elizabeth was just like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, I think
like,
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was a good sport though, right? If I remember the story correctly.
He was like reading through the book and I think she didn't realize like it at first and then he was like reading the review about himself.
Too funny. All right, Kate, it's up to you with your two vetoes left. What do you think of Right Before Christmas at 10? Does it belong on the list at 10?
I actually had this movie higher than 10. I love this movie. This is one that I try to watch every Christmas. I think they're very sweet together. I also think that It's a Wonderful Life gets referenced or like, parodied or whatever in like so many Christmas movies. And this is like the only one that I can think of. I'd have to maybe check with Alonzo, but I think it's the only one that does the like lassoing the moon scene. And I think that's very sweet because I love It's a Wonderful Life and I love that specific scene. I'll leave it at 10 and take my point, but I definitely had it higher.
All right, Kate's gonna leave it at 10. Emily, believe it or not, we are in the top 10 now, and you have the pick for number 9. Whatever
So
you
now
play
it's
can,
up to you to make.
yeah, I was just gonna say, whatever you
I'm
play is
gonna,
gonna
yeah,
set
because
the
I have two
tone.
back-to-back picks here, so you never know how this is gonna go, folks.
That's right. Yeah, she gets 9 and she gets 8, so
I get
buckle
9
up.
and 8. So for number 9, I almost remember what I had for 10, but I was looking at the wrong thing. Number 9 is Project Christmas Wish.
Project Christmas Wish. Okay. That's Travis Van Winkle. Amanda Schull is Lucy. It's from 2020. For years, Lucy has played Santa in her small town community. As she grants a little girl's wish for a Christmas like it used to be, she unexpectedly finds her own wishes coming true. And this was ranked number 1 in the Hall Star mashup. That was Travis Van Winkle, Mark Lucas, and Chad Michael Murray that Lisa, Meredith, and Jen did. And I remember saying at that time, I think I said this, but Emily, this is the movie that I was referring to when you and I were chatting, that I don't understand its popularity, and it's made, it's always getting played, whether or not it makes the final list or not. It was number 1, as I just said. Why do you like this at number 9? I have to watch this movie again. Clearly, I have to watch this again.
I think you may need to watch this. So I remember when this first came out, I actually really liked it. I liked it for a few things. One, it does deal with, losing a parent and all that for a little one. But Travis Van Winkle and Amanda Schull have some really good adult conversations. I think it's like a little bit of like an enemies to lover kind of story, which I really like. It has a little bit of that to it. I think when a lot with the Christmas movies in particular, like you want to see the joy for Christmas, you want to make happy, you want to spread like, the joy to everyone. So the concept of Project Christmas Wish, that does actually happen. I know a lot of radio stations do that. So I liked how they tied it in. But I honestly think that they had really good chemistry. And I think Amanda Schull, this is her best Hallmark movie, in my opinion. Because she gets some really bad cards dealt in the Hallmark sphere. But I think they have good chemistry. We get Travis Van Winkle. We don't see him a whole lot. I just find it very charming.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch this movie again because, like I said, a bunch of people have played it over the last 2 years or so. Um, Jen, what do you think of Project Christmas Wish at number 9? You happy with
So
this one?
I actually had this one slightly higher, not like huge, but like slightly. And I had pulled my notes from the last draft because I couldn't remember what I said about it. And I wrote, if I didn't have so many wait what's, like how she is making this a full-time job, then it would be higher on my list. And then I wrote, but man, does TVW look hot with that hair and beard. That's literally my notes. So, like I said, I had it slightly higher. And I think, like I said, it would have been higher on that other list, I think, too, because I don't think I had it as number 1. But yeah, I just like, I'm like, she's gonna do all the holidays, but like I'm confused about how it's a job. Like that was very confusing, but overall I love their chemistry. I like Emily said, they had good conversations, so I'm fine with it at 9.
Yeah. I wish TVW would do more Hallmark movies too. I miss him. Jessica, are you a TVW fan? Amanda Schull fan? Do you like this movie at
I like
number
Amanda
9?
Shaw, TBW, he's fine. I like him. I like him. This movie I don't find like I don't have anything negative to say about it. I just feel like now we're getting into like what Jen was saying, like movies that I just The only reason it's lower on my list is because the movies that are high on my list are just so vastly superb, right? At this point, I'm not going to veto it because it seems to be a pretty well-loved movie, and so I'm not going to deny other people having this on the list. And I particularly wouldn't want to risk vetoing it and have it go higher. Like this, we're okay here, but from here on out, it's gonna be some concerns about what the next numbers are gonna be. So that's where I'm at.
Jessica making one of the most polite veiled threats I think I've ever heard, Aaron Beth. It was just so beautifully said. And
It's
yet
fine.
she's like, I will cut you off, she says. I will cut you at your knees. Kate, you still have 2 vetoes. What do you think? The Project Christmas list at number 9. You a fan of this one?
I like this one. I had it at 15, so it is on my list. I think it was a sweet movie, and I'm going to leave it where it is.
All right. Emily, it is back to you for number 8. And while you're thinking, I'm just going to remind everybody, Emily has a veto and 1 veto override left. Jessica, you have 1 veto and 2 veto overrides left. Jen, you have 1 veto and 2 overrides left as well. And Kate still has 2 vetoes. So that's the state of the veto power. And we are back to Mrs. Walker. What are you thinking for number 8, Emily?
So at number 8, I would like to play Bottled with Love.
As soon as she said Mrs. Walker and you grinned, I knew it was coming. I was like, I know exactly what's coming now. Sorry.
Bottled with Love. Oh my gosh. So why? I know why, but
no, that's not the only reason why. Okay.
I know. 2019, it's Andrew W. Walker, it's Bethany Joy Lenz, it's Abby. Why don't you tell us what this movie is about? Because I know how much you like this movie.
Okay, so this is a movie about Bethany Joy Lenz's character writing a letter to her future love and professing how she is and how she feels in that moment. My dear husband finds that bottle and she throws it in the river.
Throws it in the water. Yeah, she throws it in the water.
And somehow it makes its way to Maine. Don't ask, don't know.
Yeah, currents are hard. Harder than math, currents are.
And my dear husband finds it. And what happens is he actually is the son of Bethany Joy Lenz's character's boss. And he brings him in to help seal some deals and stuff. And then they find out that they wrote the letters to each other, and they write letters back and forth to each other. So this is the reason why I particularly love this movie. In my eyes, Bethany Joy Lenz can do no wrong. And this is one of her, it's not like one of her first ones, but it's one of her first ones before she started getting a lot of Hallmark movies. If you remember 2 years ago, on the first draft we ever had, which we didn't really know what we were doing at that point.
Nope.
This movie, Dan and I agreed that this was the number 1 movie.
That's right. It stayed at number 1.
It stayed at number 1. And I still think this is one of Andrew's best movies. This is not Andrew Walker's draft, but Bethany Joy Lenz is in it. They have really good chemistry. I mean, this wasn't their first movie in general. So I think this was the second movie. I think they had Checked Into Christmas the year before. Not Checked In Christmas, the other one. On the other
Snowed In Christmas.
Snowed In Christmas. Yeah.
And so they had a really good rapport. There's a lot of cute moments. I just adore this movie, and I wanted to make sure that it was on this list at some points. I do think there are, of course, better movies out there, but I think when it comes down to it, I think this needs to be on the list.
It's a very sweet movie. You know, anytime that you can have a plot that involves throwing a message in the bottle in Boston and having that bottle end up north, up in Maine, is astonishing. But that's okay. That's all right. I love it. They've got great chemistry. It's a great storyline. What a What a fun draft that was back when we were just starting out, didn't have any idea what would happen. That was a top 11 list. That's how little I was figuring things out then, not even a top
Now
10.
look at us, Lynn.
Now look at us, we're at
2
15
years
and
later.
someday they'll be 18 or 22. Who knows, people? Who knows?
Whoa.
Don't sign me up for that one.
I veto that idea.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're
Jen,
all gonna use our vetoes on that. Forget that.
override. Jen, what do you think of Bottled with Love at number 8?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Love this movie for all those reasons. Forget the fact that it's ridiculous that it ends up in Maine. We're gonna ignore that, like we ignore 90% of the Hallmark plots that don't make sense. They are so good together. I wish they would do more movies together. I have watched it several times, and also apparently I like the whole double relationship plot, like I mentioned earlier, where they're, carrying on one relationship in secret or anonymously, and then also in real life. So, yes, I'm with
Yes.
it.
Yes, from Jen. Jessica, are you giving this some thumbs up?
Absolutely. This is one of the ones I was gonna ready to fight for. I love this movie. I don't even know how many times I've seen it. They're so good together. Snowed Christmas, this movie, they're so good together. They're both just so lovable individually, and then you put them together and it's just like your heart's just so happy for the next 2 hours of your life, And it's a sweet movie, and yeah, I absolutely adore this movie. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome. Kate, are you good? What do you think?
Don't break my heart, Kate.
No, I don't think I'm going to break your heart. I just can't believe that this is this low. And I just heard praises from all three of you about this movie. This is one of my all-time favorite Hallmark movies. I think it's almost perfect. I don't care about a bottle that goes north in like 5 states, like how many states away? I don't know. It's like, who cares? It's so good. The two of them are amazing together. I also I've watched this one so many times. I noticed something new that they do in this movie like every time, because the two of them are just have a way of elevating Hallmark movies that like so few other actors on this network do. And I have this at number 2, and I have the number 1 pick, so I'm not going to veto it.
You're not going to veto it?
No, because I want something else at number 1.
I know, because Kate, even though Kate had the most vetoes at the start of the game, she had the least amount of picks. She only has 12, 5, and 1. You could move it up to number 5.
I could, that's true. That's a good point. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
I'm fine with that.
I'm moving it up to 5.
Here's the thing,
Take a veto.
We'll take
Okay.
a veto. You still have 1 veto left. Let me just make my little notes here while I'm doing that.
It better
Emily,
be played at 5. I tell you.
It will
think
be.
of. Yeah, you can trust Kate. You can trust Kate as well.
I thought Kate and I were strategizing
Hey,
yesterday.
I
Now
am
we see
fine
what
with
happened.
I know.
I am fine with hubby's movie getting vetoed if it means it's going higher. So
Yeah, I'm sorry. Does anyone want to override it? We have such a plethora of overrides. All
So
right. I was
here's my
thinking that.
question.
Yeah.
I have it at 8. So can I override that? Like to say no, it needs to stay at 8?
Yeah, you can. You have an override.
Oh.
You can.
Just saying, like, because like if it goes like I'm happy it's on the list, but like it's currently in
This is
the spot
gameplay,
that I have
right?
it.
But is that extra bonus point worth more to you than your friendship with Emily?
I'm not
Really?
getting it off the list. I'm just not saying it's moving up.
well, I don't know if I should say this or not. Curly 8 on my list as well, Jen.
Like to be honest with you, there's so many on the list that like weren't on mine that I need the points. So like, and I've got a
And now
bazillion
Kate, like I'm
overrides.
taking these points away from you all. I'm playing it at 5.
So are you going to override Kate's veto?
I might override it and leave it there. I think I'm gonna do that.
Ah, Kate.
So disappointed.
That's the way the game is played.
That's the way the game is played.
Well, it was gonna stay there until Lynn was like, "Well, you have 5."
I was just giving her information. That's all.
Well, it's because my 5 is also already on the board, so I can't get that point
All right.
anyway. So
All right. So Bottled with Love stays at number 8. Kate basically, You didn't waste
This happened.
veto. It just happened. And then Jen did one of her overrides. She's been carrying that override around for like
5
Since
years.
Tyler.
since Tyler. So 2 years at
Yeah.
this point. So now you've lightened your veto override load there. And we will move on to number 7. Jessica, while you're thinking of that, let's just go over the state of the list again. We have Love Again at 15, Rip in Time at 14, Twas the Night Before Christmas at 13, The Beach House at 12, Surprised by Love at 11, Right Before Christmas at 10, Project Christmas Wish at 9, Bottled with Love at 8. What are you going to offer up for number 7, Jessica?
Savoring Paris.
Savoring Paris. Wow. So, what a gorgeous movie. 2024, Bethany Joy Lenz, Stanley Weber is was it Sergey, something like that. Ella seems both to have everything and nothing at all. Feeling unsettled, following a few setbacks, she decides she needs to re-energize herself by immediately taking a vacation, somewhat harkening back to her favorite vacation memory when she was 22. She's going to Paris, and she's going to eat her favorite cheeses. As Ella's time progresses in Paris, she may discover what and who she is looking for in life. And she has a banger wardrobe too, people. Jessica.
Oh,
Tell us about this movie and why you love it for number
like the
9.
movie in and of itself is like a rich brie, you know, and it's just her clothing is beautiful. I love the whole like I am kind of a sucker for the like grouchy trope, the grouchy boy trope thing. But that's like the least interesting part to me. I have spent a lot of time in my life in Paris because a bunch of my family lives there. My Spanish side of my family lives there. So I was really pleased with the accuracy of it and with the accuracy of the French in it. The little misunderstanding of je t'aime bien, which is I love you and I like you. And it sounds like I love you a lot, but it's, like that detail about like a misunderstanding of language is just like so perfect. The way that like the subtitles are what she thinks she's hearing, that's brilliant the way they do that. Her, she's just, BJL, her BJList, I love her roommate or the woman that she's like, subletting from. That woman is my cousins. Like that's all of my cousins right there. And so like I know that's kind of personal, but like there's just like and then the whole like mid-movie kiss with the guy who isn't the end game guy, like that's interesting and new Hallmarky. Yeah, just lovely all around. It's just I really, really love this movie, and I know this is definitely going to be one of those like, long game classics over the years,
Yeah, there was so many great reactions in the double decker chat when we were all watching it and everything. So it's really beautiful. I've been to Paris a couple of times. I love it. Jen, you're first up in the veto order though. So what do you think of Savoring Paris at number 7?
So I finally watched it today because I hadn't seen it yet. And I have it much higher on my list because I loved it. Like loved it. It was perfection. Like she was just so good in it. Like so many things of what Jessica said, like the clothing, I loved it. I have to decide, like, because I do have it higher, do I want it?
You have pick number 6 and you have pick number 2. You have 6 and 2.
Do not pull Lady Panda and move it up one spot and veto it.
I'm not Lady Panda. I have it much.
For 2 years.
I just want to clarify. I have it much higher on my list. Like not one up on my list.
One of the all-time most hilarious moments at Hallmark Movie Drafts was that Dan's head and Brand's DoorDash and his Brand. Anytime he's on, he's always causing trouble. Vetoing
himself was still like, what just happened?
Yeah.
So no, it's more. Do I want it up higher on the list? Would be like the question. So I think I might have to veto it.
Gonna veto it?
Yeah.
All right. So Jen is going to veto Savoring Paris at number 7. Does anyone want to veto override it? Who has a veto override card? Are we good? Yeah. All right. So we're going to veto Savoring Paris. And that means that Jessica, you can offer up another movie.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are you ready? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Summer Villa.
Oh, wow. Somerville, Victor Webster. Yeah, 2016 with Hilary Burton. Hilary Burton's Terry. Victor Webster is Matthew. A romance novelist, Terry, has writer's block, and a celebrity chef, Matthew, is suffering from a bad review, accidentally end up staying at the same French villa for the summer. And as they attempt to share the house and mend their personal lives, they find that what they're really missing is more of a personal matter. And this was ranked number one in the Vic Webster draft by Aaron, Elizabeth, and Jenna. So great movie. Tell us why you're going to slide this one in at number 7.
Partly because I want a little more Peyton representation here. It's a great movie. There's, it's kind of one of those like no notes, like it's okay. It is the trope of like, whoops, we're both in the same home. And I feel like that's kind of a weak trope, but I'll roll with it, whatever. I love the daughter's character arc. That is particularly like touching. I like, how he grows to be more like, like he kind of takes her, mentors her, and and I love like I know we have a lot of like cooking and baking stuff, but like this is more of the chefy thing, and it's not terribly off with that with their, knowledge in that regard. I like the whole like the rival guy, that's a fun story. It's beautiful scenery. Yeah, it's a love. I've seen it many times. It's again, it's one of those like, just pleasant, comforting, lovely, a lovely 2 hours you're going to spend, or 90 minutes if you don't have commercials. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Great film, great scenery, wonderful food. This movie made me hungry. Jen, what do you think of this? Replacing Savoring Paris, Somerville with Vic Webster and Hilary Burton.
So
You
this
like
is
it?
one of those ones that, like I was saying, like has a special place in my heart. Like Summer Villa is like one of the ones that like I've seen so many times and I love it. It needs to be on the list in my opinion. Vic is great in it. Like the scene in the pool. Like hello. That was literally my notes like just said also Vic in the pool is dot 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 like so yeah, I am happy it's on the list. Like I said, I love it. So
All right, Jen loves it. Jen loves Somerville at 7. Emily, what do you think?
I love this movie.
Yeah, I love this movie too.
I will tell you this is higher on my list. But my other top ones, I'm willing to fight a little bit more. So I am fine with this at 7.
Yeah.
Yep.
Emily's fine with this at 7. Kate, are you fine with this at 7?
I love this movie as well. I had it higher, but I don't think there's any reason to try and move it higher. Just I've seen the rest of the movies that are left, but yes, this is a great one. So,
Yeah, this is a great one. Erin Beth, you like this movie too, don't you? As I recall.
Oh, I really like this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, was just looking at my notes to see what things, and one of the things I said on there was it's very big budget rom-com-esque. I'm not saying it is one, but it has that feel to it. Like the actors did a good job. The child actor, even though she's older, did a good job. Like it just a lot. It's a fun movie to watch. I will watch it when I see it on. I will seek it out. So yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
good. I agree with Kate, where it's like it needs to be on the list. Maybe it's lower than it should be, but in this list that we currently have.
Yeah, I think what I love about this movie, aside from Victor Webster in the pool, is seeing Victor Webster get into that little roadster where it looks like he has to kind of fold himself into quarters to fit into that car, being a big tall guy that he is. All right, Jen, we are into the final 6 here. What are you gonna offer up to sit right next to Summer Villa?
I'm currently going between two because I know I have this and number 2. left, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to fit in like of my other like top ones if I can. All right, so it took me slightly longer because my number 6 was Project Christmas Wish, so I was trying to decide like, okay, which strategy do I go through now? I am gonna go with the Christmas House.
The original, right? 2020?
Yes.
Okay. So Christmas House is Robert Buckley as Mike. Anna Aora plays Andy. Jonathan Bennett's in it. Treat Williams is in it. Sharon Lawrence is in it. When TV star Mike Mitchell's parents ask him to bring back a revered family tradition, he revisits the Mitchell family magic of Christmas past. Mike's parents hope that bringing the family together to recreate the Christmas house will help them find resolution and make a memorable holiday for the entire family and community. And during this time, Mike reconnects with his childhood friend, Andy. So tell us why you love this movie at number 6.
I love the cast, like the ensemble cast, like Treat Williams and Sharon Lawrence are fantastic. Jonathan Bennett is great. And I really, I don't know. I think for some reason this one like holds a special place for me. Like it was when Hallmark finally started like diversifying and trying to like push out couples that were not typical. And so it just kind of like I feel like it needs to be on the list. So that's why.
Yeah, absolutely. Having same-sex couples, being more diverse, showing more of what the real world is like. It was like Hallmark trying to continue to put representation forward through their movie choices. With that said, Jessica, you are up first in the veto order. What do you think of The Christmas House at number 6?
Um, I think it's great there. It it's not on my list. It's not on my top 15 list personally. However, objectively, taking a like wider view, it should be on this list, and it's great exactly where it is because it is a groundbreaker for Hallmark, and the fact that they stood their ground to the bigots and kept it. It was like this big da 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 same as couple, and they're total secondary story, but still, I'm so like glad to be, that to be seen to see them do this. And then Jonathan Bennett is just like the perfect person to kind of open that gateway anyway. It is a great ensemble. I've kind of forgotten about like how fun they all are together. And also, Treat Williams, RIP. They're just yeah, it's great. And I don't know if I overlooked it so much. It's just like I don't recall like, loving the shenanigans, but that's just I recognize that that's a personal opinion, but again, objectively it belongs here and it belongs where it is. And the zany weirdo magician guy was like a fun little cherry there in the storyline.
Also,
Great.
honorable mention, like Sharon Lawrence was also on One Tree Hill.
Mm.
So,
Oh, yeah.
like, just
Good
as like a
call.
added little like, she also played the Brooke's mother-in-law. So
Mother-in-law.
just as like a added little thing.
Cool.
Very good. Very good. I completely forgot about that. Good call, Jen. Emily, how are you feeling about The Christmas House at number 6?
So this movie, it was the pinnacle of Hallmark changing for the better, especially with, Jonathan Bennett and that relationship. I really love this movie. I think the second one is trash. But the first one but I don't know why you're laughing because it's the truth. Let's be honest. I actually had this movie wait, where are we on my list? Hold on. I had this at 7. So right on par. I'm good with it at 6. And I kind of wish I don't want to live in a Christmas house, but I would like to go to a Christmas house like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, we're talking about it being groundbreaking and different, and it really is true because this movie is from 2020. And when you think about what the content that Hallmark has been putting out over the course of the last 5 years, it really has broadened and given more representation. And I think that's really important. That's what so many of us love, being Hallmark enthusiasts. So well said, Emily. So Kate, It's up to you. The Christmas House at number 6. You have one veto left.
Yeah, I do like this movie. It did not make my top 15 though. And I'm not going to veto it because I do really like Robert Buckley and I think he needs to be on this list. I don't think this is his best Hallmark movie, but just knowing what's left, I don't see his other one that I think is better coming back around. So I'm glad that he's on the list and I will leave it where it is.
Okay, so the Christmas list stays at number 6. Kate, that brings us to you at number 5. This is your next to last pick. What are you going to offer up? Because you only got 3 choices. That's hard. It's hard out of 15 movies.
I imagine people may be surprised, but I'm going to say Round and Round.
Round and Round at number 5 from 2023. Vic McCallis is Rachel. Brian Greenberg is Zach. Rick Hoffman is in this. Paula Shore is in this. This is a time loop movie. So Rachel's stuck in a time loop, reliving the night of her parents' Hanukkah party. Can Zach, the nice boy grandma's trying to set her up with, help her make it to tomorrow? Paula Shore is the grandma. She's in a million Hallmark movies. Rick Hoffman is Rachel's dad, Stan. He's in Suits. He's in Billions. He's everywhere. Just such a great character actor. This movie was ranked number 1 in our best Christmas movies of 2023 draft back in December by Mary, Vanessa, and Brian. And it was ranked number 2 in the time travel draft this past April by Dan, Bran, and Brian. So Round and Round at number 5. Kate, why do you like this movie?
I won't belabor about how amazing it is. I think pretty sure everyone agrees on that. Like just everybody knows this is one of the best movies Hallmark's ever made. The reason I have it at number 5 is that as much as I love the character of Jake Jelgowski, I don't know how to say it. Brian Greenberg is only in the first couple seasons of One Tree Hill. And I love him. I think he's a great actor. I just don't think that he should be representing the number 1 spot for this list. So I do love this movie, and I know you guys are going to give me great reasons why it's a good movie, but that's why I'm putting it at number 5.
That's why she's putting it at number 5. She's keeping One Tree Hill firmly in mind. Jen, what do you think? Round and Round at number 5.
I mean, I can't veto it because I don't have any vetoes, but it was my number 1. I see what you're saying. Brian Greenberg should have been in more episodes of One Tree Hill. And from everything I've read, he was who Peyton was supposed to be with, and it makes me angry. Especially because on my second round, I was like, I hate Lucas, the second watching of it. But I love this movie. I'm happy it's on the list. Don't get me wrong. I just wish it was higher, but it is what it is.
Okay, your thoughts are still important. You never know. You might sway one of your co-panelists to do something. Jessica, you are next up in the veto order. You still have a veto and 2 veto overrides. What do you think of Round and Round?
Let me just say, oh, hell no. Jen, I got your back. I was going to use my veto for something else. I'm using it for this. Kate, what? I get it. You're like, I get that I understand you're at One Tree Hill Central. That makes sense. But hell no, this movie's freaking amazing. And absolutely not. 5, that is shameful.
Okay.
I veto.
So Jessica is going to veto it. She's used all of her vetoes. She's got 2 veto overrides left. Mrs. Walker is giving a cheer.
I also say
thank you, because I was the same thing.
I was gonna say I know exactly what she's saving her veto override or what she was saving it for. At least I think I do. So it's interesting. So the fact that she utilized it for this
Says
I
words.
think says a lot.
Okay. Well, because there are so many veto overrides still left, is there anyone who wants to override that veto? No? We're good? Okay. So Kate, it is back to you. What are you going to offer up instead for number 5?
I think I'm gonna go with 5-star Christmas.
5-star Christmas. Okay, so that's Vic Webster, that's Bethany Joy Lenz again. It's from 2020. Bethany Joy Lenz is Lucy, Vic is Jake. Lucy Ralston's and her siblings are surprised when their dad converts the family home into a B&B. And when famed travel writer B. Turner unexpectedly shows up, they struggle to make the inn look more successful. And all the Ralstons pretend to be guests, and they have to maintain the charade for the duration of B's visit. And another guest, Jake, checks in unexpectedly. And as he grows closer to Lucy, she feels terrible deceiving him. But Jake has a secret of his own. And this movie was actually number 2 in the Vic Webster draft with Erin, Elizabeth, and Jenna. This movie is so funny. Tell us why you love this movie at number 5, Kate.
Yeah, I think it was something different for Hallmark. It was in 2020, it was like during that year that we didn't even know if we would be getting 40 Christmas movies. And like it was amazing that not only did they give us 40 Christmas movies, but like some of them were actually really good. And this was one of them. Bethany Joy Lenz, as we've already stated, can do no wrong in Hallmark, like in anything. She's really like one of the only characters I care about on One Tree Hill when I'm watching that show anyway. She knows how to take this material and make it work. And everyone else in this cast is amazing. Paula Shaw is really funny in this. So yeah, it belongs on the list for sure.
Good choice. Jen, you don't have a veto, but thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I had it higher, but again, it belongs on the list. So similar thoughts. That ending when Vic Webster does like sings and doesn't have to be like perfect. I love because I just think like it was just such a good scene. Yeah, I like again, it was higher on mine, but I'm happy it's on there.
Great. Jessica, quick thoughts from you on this at number 5. You don't have a veto, but would love to know what you think.
Yeah, it's super. It's perfect. It's very close to where I had it. I don't generally enjoy like everything relying on a line, everybody playing a part, but this cast is so great and they pull it off so well. And it's like literally, it's truly laugh out loud, which a lot of Hallmark laughs I was like smile and nod, but not actually laughing out loud. So yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
All
Perfect where
right.
it is.
Glowing support from everyone. Emily.
Also, oh, sorry, I was gonna say a side note, like piggybacking off of what Kate said, like the amount of 2020 movies that I had like on my top 15 like surprised me given that we thought we were gonna get like nothing. And then yet some of the what like so many of them were like, yes, I love these movies. So always interesting.
It's a good 2020. I'm not gonna do the Benny voice or whoever it was. All right, Emily, you have a veto.
Yeah, I'm not vetoing this. I had this at 5. I adore this movie. I watched it again, I don't know, yesterday or night before, and I watch it any single time it's on TV. Bethany Joy Lenz is Bethany Joy Lenz. Victor played a great part. That family is just a hoot, and I would have loved joining in their shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We need more movies like this, to be honest. I know they were lying, but like it was not like a horrible lie compared to some other movies we've seen. So we need more laughter in movies.
Absolutely. And that cast was just fabulous. So Emily, Mrs. Walker, guess what? You have the pick number 4. It's your final pick of the match. What are you going to play? And while you're thinking, I'll just give a state of the list again. At 15 is Love Again, 14, Rip in Time, 13, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, 12, The Beach House, 11, Surprised by Love, 10, Right Before Christmas, 9, Project Christmas Wish, 8, Bottled with Love, 7, Summer Villa, 6, The Christmas House, 5, 5-Star Christmas, and at 4, what could it be?
Knowing all the conversations that we've had, and I have an idea of how this may shake out, I'm going with A Biltmore Christmas.
A Biltmore Christmas from 2023. Chris Palaha is Jack. Bethany Joy Lenz is Lucy. This is a time travel movie as well. Lucy's hired to write the script for a remake of a holiday movie called His Merry Wife. She joins a tour of the Biltmore grounds, and when she knocks an hourglass over, she finds herself transported back in time to 1946, where she meets actor Jack Houston on the movie set. And Lucy and Jack become close. That's Chris Palaha, but her appearance sets off a chain of events that put the movie's production in jeopardy. And before she can return to the present, she has to make things right, or else the future is altered forever. This movie was ranked number 2 in the Best Christmas Movies Draft of 2023, back in December with Mary, Vanessa, and Brian. But shockingly, this did not make the top 10 list of the best time travel movies this past April with Dan, Bran, and Brian. And you will have to listen to that crazy chaos to figure out how this travesty happened, that this did not make that list. So, Emily.
That was a travesty. I was very, very ashamed of everyone on that panel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we love, I personally love a good time travel when they do it somewhat right. Now, not everything's going to be right, correct. But the Biltmore has this je ne sais quoi to it that just brings a lot more, I think, fun to it. Chris Palaha and Bethany Joy Lenz. I know a lot of people don't think that they should have kissed. They thought that should have been a different ending and he shouldn't have came back. But I thought they did it very well. I thought it was very well done. I just adore this movie. And if this wasn't in the top 10, I was going to throw down some vetoes. Please don't upset me, guys. Please don't.
She's talking specifically to Kate. She's the only one who can stop
well,
you.
I know I have a feeling I know what's going on. I know how Kate feels about this, but let's go ahead, folks.
All right, Emily. This was Emily's pick, so believe it or not, the first.
I will say, if you veto this, the top 3 is going to get really, really shitty.
Jen and Jessica, you are actually up in the veto orders before Kate. Jen, do you want to veto this? You can't veto this, but is there anything that you want to say?
I mean, I am probably one of the few that like isn't as high on this movie. I think I don't get the whole like Biltmore thing, so that's probably my bad. I did have it in my top 10. I just didn't have it this high. So I would have been fine probably even if I did have a veto. In general, the way it shook down even during Christmas, I wasn't as high on it. I don't dislike it. It's not my favorite.
To each their own.
Yeah.
You don't have a veto either. Do you want to say anything?
Me? So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the thing about this movie is just like it's like a rich chocolate mousse of movies. I'm always going to food movies, aren't I? But so for years of my life, decades ago, I used to be a like World War II reenactor, 1940s living historian. I used to do a lot of like, like tours and things like that, whatever. And so like I have a weird, like large amount of knowledge of tiny little details of the 1940s, and the accuracy of this movie blows my freaking mind. I mean, down to like the shape and structure of the Christmas tree and the lead tinsel that they have on it. It just weighs differently than regular tinsel. Their hairstyles, Chris Palaha's hair, Chris Palaha's outfit, that hilarious little detail of Beth Joy Lenz getting in the car and going to pull a seatbelt and it's not there. Just the accuracy is so incredible, on top of being a super beautiful, rich, beautiful movie. And as somebody who has survived and endured the like sorrowful ending of the Christopher Reeve classic time after time, I love that. I feel like this movie is kind of a correction of that. I disagree with with people's criticism of him coming back. It's like that's what everybody wanted to happen in that movie. So now like we get to like have that little correction. And so what if his social security number is probably like 4? But whatever, we'll figure it out.
All right, Jessica loves this movie. So Kate, you have a veto. What do you think of Biltmore Christmas at number 4?
So Jessica, you were talking about Somewhere in Time, right? The Christopher Reeve movie.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Time
Okay,
of
yes.
yes. Oh, that was the Jack the Ripper movie. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also love that movie. That's a great one. And I will also defend the ending. That this one of the like main like points is that she's going back to Biltmore because she changed the original ending of His Merry Wife. and they send her there to like get inspired by Biltmore. And then in the end, she gives it a happy ending. So this movie deserves a happy ending as well, that he comes back. So I also like that it ended the way it did. So now gameplay. I love this movie. I have one veto, but there's also 2 veto overrides out there. So I think I'm going to take a page from Lynn's book from the Julie Sherman Wolf draft and take one for the team, because I think I know what everybody wants at number 1, and I have the number 1 pick. So I will leave this where it is, and I will put the one that everybody wants at number 1 at number 1. So there you go.
Kate is going to not use her one remaining veto, at least not on this pick. So A Biltmore Christmas will stay at number 3. I'm sorry, at number 4, excuse me. And Jessica, that brings us to you with your final pick at number 3. What's it going to be?
I feel super scared. The movie that I really
Do the
want,
right thing. Do the right thing.
the movie I really want to be number 1. I'm scared that because of the Taylor Cole draft has me terrified, because the movie I had is number 1, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to say anything, let it go there. It didn't even end up on the list. So if I don't pick Round and Round now, I have a terror that it's gonna end up just like
Jessica,
battled out.
I said I'm taking one for the team. I'm gonna put Round and Round at number 1.
Okay.
I know that's not the way this game's supposed to be played, but
In
there you
that
go.
case,
You don't have to, Kate. You never know. Jess could put it at 3. Who knows?
I could put it at 2.
You could
That's
put it
true.
at 2.
That's
We
true.
know there's 2. All that we know is there's 2 movies out there that we've talked about that we know for sure are going to get played in either 1, 2, or 3 right now.
That's true, but I'm looking at what else is left here, and if Round and Round or Savoring Paris doesn't end up at number 1, I don't know what we're doing here. So
okay, so if I'm not gonna say Round and Round, then this might surprise folks. I'm gonna go with The Christmas Secret. Hooty whatty what? It's my actual number 3 on my list. I'm not like messing around.
The Christmas Secret. Okay,
It's
so
an oldie.
The Christmas Secret is from 2014. It's Bethany Joy Lenz is Christine. John Reardon is Jason. Christine Isley is a single mom of two struggling children to keep her family afloat during Christmas. As the holidays progress, she finds a magical family heirloom that leads to love and good fortune during Christmas. Why do you think this movie deserves to be number 3 on this list, Jessica?
I want it on the list, and I guess it's just so super personal, and I guess it's probably just like my own personal bias that puts it this high. It's just so freaking sweet, and I've seen it so many times, and I guess like the whole as a single mom who's had a lot of struggles over the years, is one of those that's how it makes it kind of personal to me, and that. But like the lead, he should have been in more stuff. I wish he'd be more stuff. He's sweet, he's charming. They've got sweet chemistry. The whole the step grandma concept, that I like that, non-traditional family element is nice. The kids are sweet. And yeah, it's a little too it's typical Hallmark, and the whole wow, this is all neat and tidy, and it turns out you're my long lost granddaughter. Okay, whatever. It's still really freaking sweet. It reminds me of that the Miracle. There's a Hallmark, my brain's not letting me remember it, but there's a Hallmark Hall of Fame movie from years ago that's similar to this idea of this woman and helping her children. Anyway, but I digress. I personally deeply love it, but I fully understand if I get a barrage of hate on it. Okay, go.
Okay, so Jen, quick thoughts from you. You don't have a veto, but anything you want to say about this movie?
It did not make my top 15.
Sure.
Okay.
It was one of the ones I rewatched yesterday. I find it very serious again for a Hallmark movie, and like I said earlier, when I watch them, I want fun. It's the same reason I read romance novels. My job is serious enough. I need to escape. And so it was much more serious in the whole topics. And then some parts I just was the ex-husband is like trying to get custody but also hasn't paid child support, and he was like the worst. And then the social worker like trying to help her was like, I don't know, it was a lot. And like, and I think like my biggest thing probably was what you said, Jessica, which was like it was too tied up. Like it like with, oh, like this person is the granddaughter the grandson of like the person whose life I saved, and she had my locket. And then it turns out like my new boss is my grandmother. Like it was very just like almost too tied up in a bow, which is those were the reasons that I didn't have it on my list.
Okay. Emily, you have a veto. What do you think of The Christmas Secret at number 3?
I'm not afraid to use my veto. I'm so sorry, Jess.
Look, I'm good. Oh gosh.
Yeah, yep,
Veto?
I'm
Veto.
vetoing it.
Okay. Jessica, what are you going
I think it deserves like a top 20 spot, but maybe not a top 3 spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had it like 22.
Do you want me to send you a thank you basket? Sorry, I'm a sorry basket. You got this. You got this.
All right, Jessica, what movie do you think deserves to be number 3 on this list, since the one that you wanted is
Oh God.
not on here?
I need a second.
Can we ask what Kate thinks?
Yeah, that's not the
No, it's okay. I'm glad you
That's
vetoed
okay.
it.
She's glad you vetoed
I'm
it.
glad you vetoed it. It's a sweet movie, but it's not top 3 material for sure.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm gonna go with Royal Matchmaker.
A Royal
I'm not
Matchmaker. Okay, from
sure.
2018, Bethany Joy Lenz is Kate. Will Kemp is Prince Sebastian. Brittany Bristow is in this. Matchmaker Kate Gleason and her assistant Brittany, who's Brittany Bristow, are hired to find a wife for Prince Sebastian of Moldavia. After some difficulty, Kate succeeds, only to realize that she's fallen in love with Sebastian herself. This was ranked number 6 in the Battle Royale. That was the 10 best royal movies, and that was Dan, Elizabeth, and Jillian, aka Lady Panda. All right, tell us about A Royal Matchmaker.
I mean, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Top 3, I feel bad. I'm really, really sorry, you guys. I'm just going through my list, and and I'm pretty sure Jen knows the one that I want to definitely not be in the top 3. So that's why. But also, it's your garden variety royal movie, and the two of them. If you're gonna have a royal movie, those two should be the leads. And a little side note thing that kind of makes me giggle every time I've seen this movie a couple times. One of the top pick that she has for Will Kemp is a woman named Petra Petrovich. And Petrovich is my sister's married name. So I always when I watch this movie, I'll send it, send a text to her ooh, there's a Petrovich in this movie. And that's just a funny thing to me. It's, it's a royal movie and okay.
Okay. So Jen, quick thoughts on this? You don't have a veto, but what are you thinking?
I'm not a huge fan of the royal movies in general, like made up countries, made up rules. I don't know. I do like that Will Kemp gets to actually speak with his own accent in this movie.
For real, yes.
I like that Brittany Bristow isn't using a fake accent in this movie, because I had also watched the Love Blossoms one in the same day, and man, her accent is ridiculous. However, I don't feel like it is a top 3 movie. It was top 12 on my list. I'm sorry, it was number 12 on my list. So those are my thoughts.
Those are your thoughts. Anything you want to add, Emily? You don't have a veto either.
Yeah, so this I do like this movie. It did not make my top 15. I would rather have this at 3 than the secret one, the one that you just played, The Christmas Secret. It's fine. It's a royal movie. Will did a great job. Bethany Joy Lenz did a great job. It is what it is. I can't do anything about it right now, but I would rather have this. It's list worthy.
It's list worthy. Okay, Kate, you were the only person left with a veto in this game.
Yeah.
And this is being played at number 3.
And I'm out of vetoes.
Yeah, you're out of vetoes. So Kate is the only one left with a veto. Everybody else has a veto override. So Kate, what are you thinking? A Royal Matchmaker at number 3.
I copy print what Emily just said. I agree. It's better than Christmas Secret. I like Bethany Joy Lenz hanging out at the top of this list. I'm not going to veto it.
Okay, so we have a royal matchmaker at number 3. Jen, it's back to you for number 2. What are you going to pick for your final choice?
I am gonna put Savoring Paris back in.
Savoring Paris is coming back in at number 2. Okay, so Savoring was originally played by Jessica, so we've already heard Jessica's thoughts on it. So I'm going to skip down to Emily. Just some quick thoughts from you about Savoring Paris. You don't have a veto, but you could influence Kate. You never know.
Um, does Kate have vetoes left?
Kate still has 1 veto left. Yeah.
I think Kate would rather have this at 1 than 2. That's just my personal thought. I'm fine with it at either spot.
Emily's fine with it at either spot. Kate, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep this at number 2? You're going to move it to number 1 by vetoing it? You have the number 1 pick.
I know. But I also like, I want this to be a representative list. I think I know what 3 of you want at number 1. I said I'm also fine with this. I would rather Bethany Joy Lenz is at the top of the list. And it's not anything against Round and Round or Brian Greenberg. I love them. I don't know. Are you guys gonna get really mad at me if I put Savoring Paris at number 1?
I think you should play your heart and
play.
play your list. Play your heart and play your list.
I mean, let's face it though, like whatever you play, I think at this point with 1 and 2 we'll both be happy. Any of us will be happy to be
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad that what happened is I know a lot of times what happens with these lists is like everyone thinks we're saving the same one for number 1, and then we like the Lacey draft is a perfect like situation for that, is we ended up with like a really weird number 1 because everybody thought we were putting something else up there. So I will use my veto because I think Savoring Paris should be number 1.
Okay, so Kate is using her veto to veto Savoring Paris at number 2. So she's already declared that she's going to use Savoring Paris at number 1, but we'll make it official. So what are you going to play, Jen, at number 2?
Round and Round.
Round and Round. Okay, Round and Round. And let's see, that was originally played back at number 5 by Kate. So Jen, talk to us about Round and Round, why you like it at number 2.
I love this movie. It was my number 1 last year. I think I mentioned earlier, like Brian Greenberg should have been in more episodes of One Tree Hill. I'm still mad he wasn't. I don't know if anybody knows, but he got like this other show and it only lasted 1 season. I think it was called October Road, and I'm still mad about that because like he literally left One Tree Hill for a show that didn't last. And that's why he like randomly pops up later. I considered playing the other one. If Jessica still had a veto, I probably would have thrown it in there just to do it, but I won't do it because I think Round and Round needs to be on the list.
Okay. So Jen's saying, yeah, I think you should keep it there. Kate, or actually no, everybody's out of vetoes at this point.
I know.
Emily, you good with this one at number 2, Round and Round?
Yes. Yeah.
Emily's good. Jessica, you're good with this at number 2?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And Kate,
Yes.
you're good with this at number 2. So we have locked in Round and Round at number 2. So here we go. We have the number 1 pick coming up from Kate. At number 15, we have Love Again. At 14, Rippin' Time. At 13, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. At 12, The Beach House. At 11, Surprised by Love. At 10, Right Before Christmas. At 9, Project Christmas Wish. At 8, Bottled with Love. At 7, Summer Villa. At 6, The Christmas House. At 5, Five Star Christmas. At 4, A Biltmore Christmas. At 3, A Royal Matchmaker. At 2, Round and Round. And Kate, what is the number 1 movie going to be? Everyone is out of vetoes. Is it going to be a surprise?
No, I'm not that mean. It's going to be Savoring Paris.
Savoring Paris. Savoring Paris at number one. Tell us why you think this one should be number one. It was originally played by Jessica at 7. It was vetoed by Jen at 7, and you're playing at number one. Tell us why you love it.
Yeah, it's Bethany Joy Lenz belongs at the top of this list. I'm also glad that she is by far the One Tree Hill cast member that's the most represented on this list. She's the best part of that show. She's one of the best actors on Hallmark, if not the best. I think we would have been happy to do a Bethany Joy Lenz draft, but she doesn't have enough
She doesn't
movies.
have enough. I know.
Maybe after this Christmas she will. Anyway,
Maybe.
it's a great movie. I had it a little lower because I had some my personal all time that I watch a lot above it, but for this year it was the best movie we've seen. So yeah.
Good choice. Good choice.
I
Jen,
can't believe I waited until yesterday to watch.
Oh yeah.
that was your first time watching it?
Yeah. And I would totally watch it again. No, sorry, it was today. Today was my first time watching it, and I would totally watch it again. I waited to watch that and the Buckley one, because I was like, I've got to watch them anyways. I might as well watch them in this cycle of things. So also I'm woefully behind on all Hallmark movies, so we're not gonna talk about that. But yeah, it's so good, and I would watch it again, 100%. She's perfect in it, and I love that she's so represented in the top section, because I do think that's where she should be. I think she's by far the best of the cast that does these movies, in my opinion. So
Emily, I don't think you had a chance to talk about Savoring Paris because Jessica did the pick, so she's already spoken about it. Do you have anything you want to say about the movie?
No, I mean, yes, I do. I really do like this movie. I think it's my top 1 or 2 of the year for this year. I think when we go through our ranking, you'll be surprised about where I put it. But I am glad that one, Bethany is on the top of the top because she deserves to be there. By far the best out of all this. Between her and Hillary, I think they're the 2 best from One Tree Hill.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think I mean, it goes to show you how many times she's been on this list. But I'm fine with it, obviously. But and I'm going back to Paris in June, so I'm even more excited.
There you go. Yeah. I wish we did have enough of her movies to do a draft. I was looking at doing a mashup between her and Brooke Dorsey, like a 2-person mashup. But I really feel that both of them kind of deserve to have their own draft. So we'll just wait and see.
And we know
what
that
happens.
Bethany would way for sure go against Brooke. No offense, but
You never know.
Well, and that was what started the conversation, was because Lynn, you and I were trying to figure out oh, hey, can we do a Bethany Joy Lenz draft? And then we knew we didn't have enough, and I was like, wait,
we're just gonna wait.
We have enough of these people. So
yeah, exactly.
If they give it another year, they will probably have enough to do top 10.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Okay, so Erin Beth, you've been really quiet during this show because you are the score keeper, and you've had this bingo card of 6 of us, quite frankly, trying to keep track of everybody's plays and the ranking against the finalists and all of that. So before we get to the personal lists of the drafters and what their scores were and who actually won, you and I exchanged lists. How did you and I do? Why don't you read your top 15, and from 15th to 1st, talk about one movie that maybe didn't get played that you feel strongly about, and then I'll go, and then we'll get to the panelists.
Right. The Christmas House, Right Before Christmas, Bottled with Love, Royal Matchmaker, Savoring Paris, A Valentine's Match, An Unexpected Christmas, Summer Villa, Naughty or Nice, Surprised by Love, Rip in Time, 5-Star Christmas, A Biltmore Christmas, and Round and Round. I think Naughty and Nice is one that is forgotten. They don't really play it much at Christmas. They don't. I've had to watch it on the streaming app. It was so cute. It was the first time I'd ever seen it. I'm like, this is an adorable movie. So I mean, I was surprised it wasn't on anybody else's list. I thought it was a really cute movie. I thought more people would like it too.
I actually thought it was going to be on my list when I sent like the or the like initial top 15 to Lynn, it was on my list. And then I rewatched it again like yesterday and I just like found, I don't know, it like didn't,
It's
it ended
charming.
up getting pushed off. Like there were things in it that I was just like, no, this is not okay. And it just ended up getting, it was number 17, so it got slightly bumped down.
I got slightly bummed down. Yeah.
It is a very
Um,
cute movie.
But
I
it does have Kyle
placed
XY in it, so Brand would be
it does.
excited.
Had 11 movies. I placed one, so in its place, so 13 points.
Oh, 13. Awesome. Good for you. So here's my top 15. There are a lot of movies that I love that just didn't make it onto my list. Doesn't mean I'm not a fan. So 15, I have The Beach House. At 14, It's Christmas Carol. At 13, Right Before Christmas. At 12, Merry-Go-Round. At 11, Summer Villa. At 10, A Family Thanksgiving. At 9, Love in Paradise, Luke Perry. At 8, Royal Matchmaker. At 7, Rip in Time. At 6, Surprised by Love. At 5, Round and Round. I will never forgive you, Jessica, for vetoing it because it was number 5 on my list. I would have gotten 2 points there. At 4, Savoring Paris. At 3, Bottled with Love. At 2, An Unexpected Christmas. And at 1, A Biltmore Christmas. So the movie that I want to talk about just really briefly is A Family Thanksgiving. It's a Daphne Zuniga. It's a sliding doors movie from 2010, and everyone should take time to watch this. She's a wealthy corporate lawyer at sliding doors. She's wondering about her life. It's very funny. Academy Award winner Faye Dunaway is in this movie. I was talking to Alonzo about it. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I have to watch this." It's totally bonkers, and it's before the Bill Abbott years. So you will see things and you will hear things that you won't see or hear in Hallmark movies today. So that's my list. How'd I do?
Lynn, I have to ask, why merry-go-round?
Um, one of the tropes that I do love is the I was married, but I forgot I was married. You know me. I'm a fake relationship girl. I'm like time travel, time loop. It's
I have
fantasy. So I don't get too serious about the topic and I don't get too serious about any of that. And Brennan Elliott in this movie is really good. Hallmark likes to slick back his hair and give him, color out the gray and all of that. And in this movie, he's rocking a look. I like it. It's good. How'd I do, Erin Beth?
You had 9 movies, one in place for a total of 10 points.
That's better than I thought I was going to do. All right, so let's hear your personal list. We'll start with Jen. What was your top 15 and what one movie that we didn't get a chance to talk about do you want us to talk about?
So my top 15 was I had 15 was Love Once and Always, 14 Love in Store, 13 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, 12 Royal Matchmaker, 11 The Christmas Promise, 10 Surprised by Love, 9 A Biltmore Christmas, 8 Bottled with Love, Summer Villa was number 7, 6 Project Christmas Wish, 5 The Christmas House, 4 An Unexpected Christmas, 3 Savoring Paris, 2 5-Star Christmas, 1 Round and Round. I think the only one we didn't talk about on that list was Love Once and Always, and that one was like one of those like, remember I said like there's like these certain movies that were like I've seen them so many times and I kind of love them. For some reason I really like Amanda Schull and Peter Porte and that like I just first whenever he's in like especially him when he's in different movies he like I forget it's him. So like he's in another one that like Love at the Shore where like I genuinely forget it's him because he plays like such a different character and so I just for some reason that one bumped some other ones off the list.
What about the tearing down the estate, putting in a golf course, something like that, right?
Yeah, the one, yeah, they're like both inherit like the estate, and then she wants to do this whole like historical thing, and he wants to like, make it into, whatever, and then they kind of come to like a agreement. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, it's a good movie from 2018. Jesse Joe, What's your top 15?
First of all, real quick, Jen, what was the movie that you think I was like holding my veto for?
Unexpected Christmas.
Yay! Oh, you do know me. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
here's
was
my
like
list.
to the point where I honestly thought about playing it at 6. That's the one I needed a break to like think about because I was like, if I play this, she's gonna use her veto because I know it, and like then I'll
Well,
just like slide it in somewhere else. But like then
well,
I
my
ended up deciding to do Christmas House. So
well, my strategy was to keep it out of the top three. I didn't know it was not going to be on the list at all. So it's like, all right, anything but the top three, and I will let it slide. But if it makes it in the top three, I will go to the mattresses. So
yeah, you
yeah.
have not been quiet about your opinion on that
Right.
movie, so I knew. Like I was like,
Okay. 15, Love Blossoms. 14, Rip in Time. 13, It's Christmas Carol. 12, Love Again. 11, Right Before Christmas. 10, Savoring Paris. 9, Love in Store. 8, A Valentine's Match. 7, 5 Star Christmas. 6, Summer Villa. 5, Bottle with Love. 4, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. 3, The Christmas Secret. 2, A Biltmore Christmas. 1, Round and Round. The one I want to like, I guess, talk a little. It's Christmas Carol. Um, just 2 words, Carrie Fisher. That's all. R.I.P. Obviously.
Okay, Emily, Mrs. Walker, what did you have on your list?
So real quick, I'm going to preface this. I know how people think, and I know I'm glad I didn't have the number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, 1, 2, or 3 choice. So starting down at 15, Love Again, Naughty or Nice, It's Christmas Carol, Savoring Paris at 12, Blind Date Book Club, don't ask, I don't know why. Surprised by Love, Project Christmas Wish, Bottle with Love, Christmas House, Rip in Time, 5 Star Christmas, A Biltmore Christmas, Summer Villa, Round and Round, and Jess is gonna hate me for Unexpected Christmas.
Unexpected Christmas was on a bunch of your lists. It was on several of our lists, of course. What movie would you like to talk about?
I'm just gonna go back. I know, Lynn, you talked about a little bit Naughty or Nice. I watched it for the first time the other day, and I thought it was fun. To be quite honest, I liked how there was a friendship between a male and a guy, and it wasn't romantic. I thought it was funny, hysterical. I really liked Hillary Burton. I actually laughed out loud about it. Her name was Chrissy Kringle. I mean, come on. So of course there's issues with it, but I think they should play it more.
I also got pre Haul Out the Holly vibes from
Yeah,
it this time watching it.
because they
So
were
I was like,
selling things and
interesting.
all
Like,
that. Yes.
All right, Kate, reveal your list, please.
All right, my 15 Project Christmas list, 14 Sand Dollar Cove, 13 The Beach House, 12 Love Again, 11 Surprised by Love, 10 Blind Date Book Club, 9 An Unexpected Christmas, 8 5 Star Christmas, 7 Round and Round, 6 Savoring Paris, 5 Right Before Christmas, 4 Rip in Time, 3 Summer Villa, 2 Bottled with Love, and number 1 Biltmore Christmas.
Which movie would you like to talk about? Were there any on your? Yeah, there were a couple on your list that we didn't talk
there's
about.
3 that didn't make it. I knew nobody else was gonna have Sand Dollar Cove. That's why I like hid it down at the bottom. I think the kiss in the middle is like really hot, and I know I was in the minority of like people liking that movie when it came out, but I thought it was fine. So.
Awesome. All right, Erin, Beth, we're all on pins and needles here. What was everybody's score for the
All
drafters?
right. Starting with 4th place, Jessica put got 10 movies, 1 in its place for a total of 11 points. Kate had 12 movies, 1 in its place for a total of 13 points. And then I'll go with the winner, which was Emily. She had 11 movies with 6 in their place.
Wow.
Of 17 points. And then Jen had 11 movies, 3 in their place for a total of 14 points.
Wow.
Emily is the winner.
I'm excited.
Congratulations.
You know what? This just goes to show you after 2 years, you can still come out on top, folks.
This
I mean
was
that in a
great.
loving way.
I will say, I think you're having 8 and 9 back to back really helps.
That really did help. Yes.
Yeah, this was awesome. You guys, you did such a great job. Before I read the list for the final time, In October, we're kicking off year 3 for HMD. It's going to be a food forward movie theme draft. And there's going to be a first time drafter, Jackie, and 2 experienced drafters, Cece, and of course, Brian Harold from the Deck the Hallmark podcast. So you never know what Brian's going to do, or Cece. Good luck, Jackie. Jackie, you're going to need it. But we're all here for it. So once more, for the final time, here's the definitive list of the 15 best Hallmark movies featuring a lead cast member from the One Tree Hill series, as drafted by Kate, Jessica, Jen, and Emily. Here we go. At 15, Love Again. At 14, Rip in Time. At 13, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. At 12, The Beach House. At 11, Surprised by Love. At 10, Right Before Christmas. At 9, Project Christmas Wish. At 8, Bottled with Love. At 7, Summer Villa. At 6, The Christmas House. At 5, 5-Star Christmas. At 4, A Biltmore Christmas. At 3, A Royal Matchmaker. At 2, Round and Round. And at number 1, Savoring Paris. Awesome, you guys. Let's all say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Never doing 15 again.
No, never again. Thank you.
Hallmark Movie Drafts is a monthly production. Stephanie Purcell creates the movie synopses using descriptions from IMDb or Hallmark.com as a base. Kate Baca vets the list of eligible movies and manages our Letterboxd account called Hallmark Drafts, where you'll find the list of eligible movies for each show, as well as the final top 10 lists and the panelists who drafted them. Erin Beth Cermak creates the Where to Watch lists and the trivia round questions, and along with Stephanie and Kate, provides additional creative, research, and hosting support. I'm Lynn Austin. I'm the showrunner, producer, and host. I staff the panels, create the show topics, manage the production schedule and the HMD socials, and edit and publish the podcast. Intro and outro music is provided courtesy of Amato Zapana. Thank you to the Deck the Hallmark double-deckers who share their passionate opinions on these Hallmark movies that we love, or maybe not love, so much.